The question I posed to everybody today is, do you really need a cinema camera if you already have a very capable designated hybrid camera that can do photo and video? Why spend the extra money on a camera that can only do video? Today we're going to take a look at the Canon C400, which I've been working with for the past year, and the R5 Mark II, my mirrorless kit that I often use for nimble shots and social media short format content. So we're going to stack the footages side by side, see what works, what doesn't work, what our thoughts are. Let's take a look at a recent creative shoot where I was using just 2 tube lights, very low production effort in some low light settings, testing these cameras in their raw form out of the box, side by side. Here it is.
Drink a little water, feel a little better. You do what you gotta, babe. Oh, but there is one thing you're all forgetting. But endless morning will turn to night. And when you're dreaming, you will be seeing a little demon dancing around.
The R5 Mark II, I was using it as I would out of the box. I didn't have it rigged up to record externally, and as we know by now, you really have to externally record to get the maximum use of footage out of the R5 and R5 Mark II because they're prone to overheating. On paper, the R5 Mark II is far superior in terms of specs to the Canon C400, but as we should know by now, it's not your megapixels, it's not your resolution, it's really your sensor type. Your sensor type determines the quality of footage. Your dynamic range, your depth, your contrast, all of those good things, your low light capabilities are all defined by your sensor quality. Just because your sensor does 100 megapixels like we see on some phones these days doesn't mean it's better than a cinema camera or a mirrorless camera for that matter. The comparison on paper isn't really a fair comparison. The C400 I was filming on Canon RAW 6K 12-bit. The R5 Mark II, if I was to record externally, would have been Canon RAW 12-bit 8K. Let me interject really quick to say that the R5 Mark II can internally record 8K 12-bit Canon RAW, which I was doing. It was incredible. Autofocus included. You can't really beat it. The footage, as you saw, looked great. Where you run into a problem is 2 areas. One, the file sizes, and with that data rate, that bit rate, well over 2,000 megabytes per second, your card's going to fill up really quickly. So you're going to need to externally record and use SSDs ideally. Number 2, the R5 and R5 II are prone to overheating, especially in those higher recording resolutions. So that is why the cinema camera takes a win here. You're not going to deal with overheating, and you're not going to deal with those really heavy file sizes, or at least with Canon RAW on the C400, you're going to have a much more streamlined workflow. So out of the box, I can record internally on the C400, and you can also record internally on a high capacity SD-EXC card on the C80, a much cheaper option. So my point is, by the time you rig out the R5 Mark II, you might as well have just spent the money on a designated cinema camera like the C80, which is going to be in that case cheaper than getting an R5 Mark II and rigging it out to do external recording. It is a very valid investment to get a designated cinema camera because there is so much work out there for videographers. So if you're on the fence and you're looking at, hey, I have a R6 or R5, do I really need a cinema camera like the C70 or the C80? The answer is yes. It's going to make a night and day difference because that's what my experience has been. Not only do I have better internal recording capabilities and a higher quality sensor, as I've mentioned, with better dynamic range and all that good stuff, I also have the added convenience of having just some designated tools that videographers find useful, such as built-in XLR ports. Built-in NDs, as I've mentioned before, that's kind of my standard for what defines a cinema camera. A cinema camera should be 1, a camera that just does video, and 2, has internal NDs. That's my standard for a cinema camera, which means the C50 and the FX3 by that definition are not cinema cameras. I also see now video cameras and entry-level video cameras getting better and better and cheaper. Technology has improved. Just 5 years ago, we didn't have cameras that had cinema cameras that had really good autofocus. Now we see across the line, Sony, Nikon, Red, Canon, all have autofocus. So if I was a videographer that was looking at getting my first designated cinema camera, if I was shooting Canon, and that's the brand I would recommend, granted they're all great these days, I would wait for the C50 honestly, because 1, it's going to save you about $2,000. That price point is very low compared to a C80 or C400. And the last point I'll make in this video is market your cinema camera. Once you get your cinema camera, know how to market it. Put it on your website, put it on your social media, put it in your bio, put it in your kit.co. Kit.co is a useful website where you can list all your gear and have it referenced to your clients so they can see what you're working with. And don't make the mistake of thinking that your clients don't know what you're shooting on. A lot of times creative directors, ad agencies, DPs, directors, they know what camera is what, and they are looking for DPs and freelance videographers who have a particular camera, a camera that can do designated video work that will provide them the standards for the deliverable that not all mirrorless cameras can offer. You're going to tailor to a higher end client when you have a designated cinema camera. I would still hang on to your mirrorless camera if you can. Having the capability to take still photography is going to be a huge plus. So don't get rid of your mirrorless camera, keep that for your workflow. I'd love to have a conversation with you in the comments. Do you use a mirrorless camera as opposed to a cinema camera? What was your thoughts when you initially got your cinema camera? I'd love to hear it and just help those out that have some questions. I have another video coming to you all soon, so please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care.